champ now.
Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, champ?
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean? What I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talking. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, playing one time during my career, I was on a Formula One tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Historian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Salute to Miss Cass, because without her, none of this would be possible. Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Box Historian. Today, top commentators, ring announcers, title belts, venues, and gems. That's the family today. We are going to cover a number of different categories today, and we're going to finish off the Corner Man show from yesterday, because at the Corner Man show, and we talked about exactly what a Corner Man is, their duties, and we had 8 legendary cornermen. We only got 6 of them in. We didn't get Angelo Dundee or Stitch Duran in, but we're going to start the show with them today. Okay? So we're going to get them in today. But how's everybody today? It's Thursday. We are now late, deep into this week, big week of boxing history. We were supposed to do the history of the WBC today, but since we had to finish the Corner Man show off, we're not going to have time to get the WBC showing. So the WBC will pick up next Thursday. We're going to finish the week off tomorrow with the life and career of gentleman Jerry Cooney. That's tomorrow on Cast Sports, the Box Historian, bringing you all of that boxing history. But how's everybody? It's Thursday. We got the big Andy Cruz, Raymond Muratalla this weekend for the vacant IBF belt. Big fight. I got it 50-50. Okay. And then next week will be just days away from the fight week for Shakur and Teofimo, two of the biggest names in the sport. And that's what we want. Best against the best. And it's a great card. Co-man is Keyshawn Davis against, I forgot who Keyshawn was fighting now, but Keyshawn Davis is in the co-main. And great card. Shushu Carrington is on the card. Middleweight title fight, couple title fights on the card. Jermaine Ortiz. Keyshawn Davis and Jermaine Ortiz is in the co-main. Then we got a middleweight championship fight on the card. So it's Carlos Adames putting his title on the line on the card. Had a little brain lock starting out. But yeah, the co-main is Jermaine Ortiz and Keyshawn Davis. And Shushu Carrington is on the card. We have a Carlos Adames defending his middleweight title. And the same weekend, this is next weekend, not this weekend. This weekend is Andy Cruz and Raymond Muratalla. But then the same weekend as Shakur and Teofimo, we got Xander Zayas in a unification fight. And Bakram with Zerliev also in action next weekend. But we're going to do a little something different on the Fight of the Day segment today. We're going to look at a fighter of the day in a few different fights. So let's get into it. Okay. Today's Fight of the Day coming right up. Well, the Fight of the Day segment. Let's get into that. So for the Fight of the Day segment today, we're going to have a fighter of the day. Floyd Patterson. And looking at a few different fights that he was in. So the fighter of the day, Floyd Patterson. Okay. And we'll get a couple of his fights. Joey Maxim. He had a trilogy. Sonny Liston. 2 fights with Sonny Liston. It's the Swedish fighter. I don't know why I can't remember anybody's names today, but yeah, we're going to take a look at Floyd and a few different fights he was in. So let's get into it. Ingemar Johansson. He had a trilogy with Ingemar. Okay, let's get into that though. Floyd Patterson. The Fight of the Day segment is a fighter of the day. Let's get started. Floyd Patterson, the heavyweight who moved like a welterweight. Okay. Floyd was fast, good movement. The heavyweight who moved like a welterweight. Floyd Patterson. Had he lived in the grand old age, Floyd Patterson would have celebrated his 91st birthday earlier this month. Patterson, a most fascinating figure, a man who, though a great fighter, was shy and insecure. He had an incredible ring career, though. Born in Waco on this day back in 1935, Patterson, despite rarely, if ever, weighing more than 180 pounds, this, of course, diminutive for a heavyweight and unimaginably low poundage for a heavyweight these days. Fought so many heavyweight giants. And he fought in an era of small heavyweights. And at 180, he was still small for that era he fought in. Muhammad Ali, twice. Sonny Liston, twice. Jerry Quarry, twice. Ingemar Johansson, 3 times. And fellow natural 175-pounder Archie Moore. Patterson engaged in memorable fights with the above fighters and more. After winning Olympic gold as a middleweight in 1952, Patterson, who had only been an amateur boxer for 3 years before winning gold, went pro. Just 16 years old, and having been spotted by Cus D'Amato, Patterson went 13-0 before he lost a decision to former light heavyweight champion Joey Maxim. With D'Amato's plan being for Floyd to win the world heavyweight title, this despite his light heavyweight stature, Patterson earned his shot by beating Tommy Jackson by a 12-round split decision in June of 1956. The great Rocky Marciano had retired, and Patterson was matched with former 175-pound king Archie Moore for the vacant crown. After 5 one-sided sessions inside Chicago Stadium, Patterson made history by becoming, at age 21, the youngest heavyweight champion ever. And if Archie Moore would have won, he would have been the oldest heavyweight champion ever. But Floyd Patterson got the stoppage and became the youngest heavyweight champion ever. Mike Rem in the building. Salute, Mike. Fighter of the day today, we looking at a fighter of the day, Floyd Patterson, in a couple of his fights. Few of Floyd Patterson's fights. Salute, Mike. Yeah, Floyd became the youngest heavyweight champion ever. History would have been made in that fight either way. If Archie Moore would have won, he would have been the oldest heavyweight champion ever, but Floyd became the youngest ever at 21. Patterson, who was lightning fast and ever so agile, additional boxing history. After making 4 title retentions, one of them against debutant Pete Rademacher, making his first pro fight against Floyd in a title defense for Floyd. Pete was coming off an Olympic gold medal performance, and his debut fight as a pro was against Floyd. And Floyd won that one. But then Floyd suffered an almighty upset at the hands of Sweden's Ingemar Johansson. Failed 7 times during the short, extremely violent fight. Patterson was knocked out in the 3rd round, and he was devastated to the point of going into hiding. The rematch took place a full year later, and Patterson, having lived like a monk and trained like a Trojan, was determined to make up for the way he let the people down in the first fight. Patterson scored a leg-twitching knockout in the 5th round, his gazelle punch, wiping Ingemar out in brutal fashion. The first man to regain the world heavyweight title, Patterson said that this was the proudest moment of his career. In the rubber match, which came in March of 1961, Patterson took some hurt before stopping Johansson in round 6. Then, after a retention against Tom McNeely, Patterson could swerve number 1 contender Sonny Liston no longer. Against D'Amato's advice, Patterson signed on to defend against the terrifying, intimidating Liston. And just like that, Patterson was blasted out inside a round. Patterson must have known he had next to no chance of avenging the loss, but he fought Liston again, with him again being stopped in the opening round, just 4 seconds later than the first fight between the two. So 2 first-round stoppages to Sonny Liston. Now this could have been the end, but Patterson, who genuinely loved fighting, with the ring being the place where he expressed himself best, boxed on for almost 10 more years after that second loss to Liston. Patterson never managed to become the first 3-time heavyweight king, but he sure gave his all in trying. Patterson defeated George Chuvalo in a great action fight in February of 1965 before he challenged Ali in November of that year. Against Ali, Patterson entered the ring with an injured back. He was a sitting duck for the new ruler, a man who was even faster than he was. Patterson took a terrible beating, being stopped in the 12th round, with the cruel Ali being severely criticized for being a bully afterwards. One writer writing how seeing Ali's toying of the game but outgunned Patterson was akin to watching a boy pull the wings of a butterfly. Yeah, Ali got a lot of criticism for the way he beat Floyd up, but it's boxing. Patterson, who had taken a disguise of him into the Liston rematch and would often hide from public view if he lost the fight, was famously shunned by Frank Sinatra after the Ali hammering. Sinatra having picked Floyd to win, with Patterson later attempting to apologize to Sinatra as he sat in his Vegas suite, and Sinatra shunned him. Patterson wasn't done yet, though. A knockout win over British hero Henry Cooper came in Floyd's next fight, before he engaged in 2 hard, close fights with Jerry Quarry. Patterson getting a draw in the first fight and then losing a majority decision in the return. Then, with the 2 heavyweight titles up for grabs as a result of Ali being stripped for refusing to serve in the Vietnam War, Patterson came so close to becoming the WBA champion, with him instead dropping a controversial 15-round decision to Jimmy Ellis. Yeah, Floyd was going to be the first 3-time heavyweight, first man to win the heavyweight title 3 times in that fight, but he came up short to Jimmy Ellis. A good win over Oscar Bonavena came in February of 1972, before Patterson got a non-title rematch with Ali. Despite being stopped 5 rounds quicker this time, Patterson acquitted himself better. Still, Ali was just too good for Floyd. And that was it for Patterson, although he never officially announced his retirement. After hanging up the gloves, Patterson guided his adopted son, Tracy Harris Patterson, to a world title in the 1990s, while Floyd became chairman of the New York State Athletic Commission, with him serving 2 terms. Sadly, in 1998, pretty much out of nowhere, Patterson's short-term memory failed him, with him suddenly and frighteningly being unable to remember the names of people he had known for years. Patterson resigned his post as the chairman of the New York State Athletic Commission, and he was later diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and later prostate cancer. The first 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, who carried so much mental baggage with him into the ring, passed away in May of 2006, age 71. To this day, Floyd Patterson holds a special place in the hearts of many fight fans. Floyd was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1991. Final ring record, 55 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw, 40 knockouts. Heavyweight champion of the world from November of 1956 to June of 1959. And again, from June of 1960 to September of 1962. The heavyweight that moved like a welterweight, Floyd Patterson. There you have it. Fighter of the day, Floyd Patterson. Okay. So we're finishing up cornermen from yesterday today. So we didn't get Angelo Dundee or Stitch Duran in. So we're going to start out today, finish up cornermen from yesterday. So we're going to start with Angelo Dundee today. Then we're going to get to Stitch. Okay, finishing up cornermen. But as everybody, it's Thursday, deep in this big week of boxing history. We got Gentleman Jerry Cooney coming tomorrow. Okay. Yep. For the profile. Big fight, championship fight this weekend. Couple of title fights on the card. Andy Cruz and Raymond Muratalla is the main event. Carlos Adames also defending his middleweight title on the undercard. And the co-main is Keyshawn Davis and Jermaine Ortiz. Keyshawn will probably pull that one off with a decision. I got Shakur winning by decision over T.O. in a good fight, good entertaining fight. But that's this weekend. I guess the final press conference is today, and then we got the weigh-in Friday, and Saturday is the fight. Okay, yeah, we're finishing up Cornerman today. We had, we went over exactly what a cornerman is, exactly what his duties is, and then we had 8 legendary cornermen, and we only got 6 in. So Angelo Dundee, Stitch Duran today. So how great was Angelo Dundee, though? That's the question. Glad y'all asked. Let's talk about it. How great was Angelo Dundee? Now, Angelo Dundee added light to everyone and anyone who came into contact with him. Angie to his friends. Okay? And he started his career as a young man, and he lived well in the old age. It was fitting, as Dundee had so much knowledge, so much passion, so much decency to pass on. Literally, a trainer of champions. Dundee worked with the best, and he pushed the best. Often, too, Angelo saved the best from a loss that had another guy been working the corner that night, the loss would surely have come when Sugar Ray fought Thomas Hearns. Anybody else, Sugar Ray probably would have lost that fight. But Angelo pushed him to the win. Remember, you're blowing it, son. You're blowing it. But throughout it all, when it would have been so easy for Angelo to have submitted to ego and a desire for attention the way so many other star trainers do and did and continue to do, Dundee was happy to take a back seat to his fighters, to let them bask in the glory. Born in August of 1921, Angelo Dundee made his first big move into the sport of boxing when, after serving his time in World War II, and in a long stint as a bucket man at the legendary Stillman's Gym, he opened his own, more famous gym with his brother, Chris, the 5th Street Gym in Miami. From then on, A literal conveyor belt of class fighting material was unleashed. Just to think how many great, legendary, and superbly gifted fighters must have walked through those doors just across from the beach. Anytime at that time, when any kind of fighter came to the United States from overseas, anywhere, they always passed through that Fifth Street gym in Miami before they went back home. And how much the greats learned from Dundee. Muhammad Ali, as special as he was, never parted ways with Angelo Dundee. Many naysayers say Ali would have been as great with any other trainer or cornerman working with him. But I beg to differ. Angelo Dundee made all the difference. That's why Ali never parted ways with him. Angelo trained Ali in every fight of his career except for two. Sugar Ray Leonard did part ways with Dundee, yet it never really did him any good. Among the other champions Dundee assisted include Willie Pastrana, Jose Napales, Luis Rodriguez, Sugar Ramos, Big George Foreman, Pinklon Thomas, and Michael Nunn. It was, though, as Ali's trainer that Dundee became recognized as the main trainer, as the main man, as in the best, the most respected, the most identifiable of all boxing trainers. Some fans say Eddie Futch was a greater trainer. Others say Emanuel Stewart. Going back further, historians point to Ray Arcel, Jack Blackburn, and Charlie Goldman. But the thing about Angelo, he would have gladly nodded his head and agreed with any passionate argument put to him that insisted those guys were better than him. Angelo would have just agreed with him. That's just how he was. That's the way Angelo was, down to earth, willing to listen as well as teach, and absolutely no ego-driven monster. Angelo Dundee was indeed very great. And just like he told Sugar Ray Leonard, "You're blowing it, son, you're blowing it," Angelo had many great quotes. But here are four of his most memorable quotes. And the first one is probably the best. Angelo said, "Notice who is in the locker room after you have lost, not after you have won." Okay? Notice who is in the locker room after you have lost, not after you have won. He said, "It don't cost nothing to be nice." Training fighters is like trying to catch fish. It's not the strength, but the technique. And finally, Angelo said, "Criticism is okay, but encouragement is better." Angelo Dundee, okay? Just shorten it up a little bit for today, but we're finishing up Quarterman from yesterday. Now, the great Stitch Duran, legendary, the best cut man of all time, Stitch Duran. We didn't get these two in yesterday. Getting them in today. That's why we didn't do the World Boxing Council today, because we finished up Cornerman. We wouldn't have had enough time with the world. We're going to do the World Boxing Council show next weekend. Now we're going to finish up yesterday's show with the eighth of the legendary cornermen we had planned, Stitch Duran. Greatest cut man of all time. Probably would never be another one like him. And still active. Jacob Stitch Duran. A stitch in time saves fights. A stitch in time saves fight. It is said that the cut man is the most integral part of a fighter's entourage. Many a fight has been determined by a cut man's ability to control abrasions and swelling. It is an art only attainable through the trials and tribulations of combat. one of the most prolific cut men in the business of MMA, K1, and professional boxing is Jacob Stitch Duran. He's a calm, happy character that seems to be present at the biggest and most prestigious fights in these three sports. He's the perfect individual to walk the divide between each contrasting medium of combat. The fighting styles change, but Stitch's role remains consistent. Because Duran is in such a unique position, he is the ideal person to disclose the functions of the cut man. Stitch is a burly, affable man that bears a striking facial resemblance to the actor Edward James Osmose. More recently, his notoriety as the in-house cut man for the UFC earned him consistent recognition by fans of the burgeoning combatant organization. Stitch is very comfortable and genuinely appreciative of the prestige that his job has given him. But that fame and notoriety has come through a long, indentured progress. Stitch originally grew up in the Central Valley town of Planta, California, which is about 2 hours south of San Francisco. He joined the Air Force as a young man, and while stationed in Thailand in 1974, participated in Taekwondo. Over time, he gravitated toward the indigenous sport of Muay Thai, a martial art that employs punches, elbows, knees, kicks, and throws. He eventually became a master instructor of the art, and when he returned to the United States, he opened a school for both professional and amateur boxers. During his many travels to fight locations, Stitch found it necessary to act in many capacities, with one of those roles being a cut man. Although Stitch was a willing and eager student of the trade, he received a chilly reception from the masters of the art. He was often told by veteran cut men that their remedies and practices would be secrets taken to the grave with them. Initially dejected, Stitch did eventually find solace among some of the best in the cut man fraternity. It wasn't until he ran into Will Leshton, who was Tony the Tiger Lopez's cut man, and the well-respected Chuck Bodak, that Stitch found some mentors that were willing to convey their accumulated wisdom of the trade. With additional theoretical study, Stitch came into his own as a knowledgeable and competent cut man. As Stitch recalls the filming of the 1999 boxing movie Play It to the Bone, starring Woody Harrelson and Antonio Banderas, there have been some ironic and memorable moments along the way with people like Bodak. I really wanted to work as Antonio Banderas' cornerman in the movie because of the Latino connection, but Chuck Bodak jumped in and snapped the role up first. I ended up working as Woody Harrelson's cornerman instead. During the course of filming action between the two actors, a headbutt occurred in which Harrelson received a nasty gash close to his eye. It was perfect. I got an opportunity to demonstrate my work on Harrelson's cut. A significant indictment of Stitch's abilities also occurred during a break in the filming. The producer of the movie gave Bodak a birthday present in front of the cast and crew, but the surprise was unveiled in the ensuing speech Bodak gave to those assembled. Bodak went on to reveal that when he retired, the next great cut man would be none other than Stitch Durand. It was a tip of the hat from the master to the servant, but it was also a moment that marked the changing of the guard. It is a bittersweet memory for Durand because Bodak suffered a massive stroke a few years later and never got back into the fight game. There are only a few of us left at the top. Basically, there's me, Joe Souza, and a few others. I began to think about what I went through and how many people were left as genuine cutmen. It was time to start giving something back to the game, said Stitch. For this reason, Durand decided to put together an instructional DVD on being a cornerman. The DVD addressed essential hand wrapping techniques, and it also revealed how to close cuts and reduce swelling. As Stitch pointed out, it is not as simple as some people think. So much of cuts and swelling are determined by bone structure, the temperament of the skin, and the location of the injury. A lot of times, it is really out of my hands. To emphasize this point, Stitch brought up the first Mosley-Vargas fight, in which the referee was forced to stop the fight because of an enormous swelling surrounding Vargas' eye, which arose from a headbutt. Stitch remembered. At first, it started off as a cherry-sized bump around the middle of his brow. I tried to coax the swelling away with Inswell, but it progressively grew worse. As the fight wore on, there was nothing I could do. As boxing fans know, this was a rare but serious occurrence that required a stoppage. Despite the outcome of the Vargas fight, there are proven methods that can be performed to reduce and control swelling. Stitch addressed these problems within his DVD. The mistake that people make with Inswell is that they try to push the blood with pressure away from the injured region. When this happens, the fluid accumulates in unaffected areas as well and causes more swelling. When working with Inswell, the trick is that you have to draw the fluid away from the injury so that the fluid doesn't pool. Stitch also devoted considerable time within the video to discussing the details of closing and treating cuts. He also discussed the foundations of cut medication: Thrombine, Abatine, and adrenaline chloride, also known as adrenaline 1 and 1000. Adrenaline chloride is the most commonly used medication. It decreases blood flow and causes blood vessels to constrict within an affected region. Abatine is a coagulant used to prevent bleeding. It is applied directly onto the cut, and then is used into the cut. It is applied directly into the cut, and then is usually followed with applied pressure from a gauze pad. Thrombine is also another coagulant, but it is usually used when the surface of the cut is dry. Stitch likes to use a combination of medication to treat cuts. First, he applies adrenaline chloride, and then administered Abatine with applied pressure. Before he sends the fighter back to engage an opponent, he seals the cut with a combination of Vaseline and adrenaline chloride. It is almost like applying paint. with each layer having a specific purpose and role in the process. Okay? Now, Stitch specifically discussed how to work on cuts with Dr. Davidson and Dr. Watson from the Nevada State Athletic Commission. When Stitch discussed this show, he beamed with enthusiasm. These guys are really knowledgeable emergency room physicians. You can learn so much from them. Stitch revealed that these physicians have also created a new piece of equipment that invariably became a necessary instrument for cut men. It was a beanbag apparatus that dehydrated and sucks out the blood tissue. Finishing up cornermen today on Stitch Duran. Now, Stitch was asked what his most satisfying and defining moments in the corner were. He paused, reflected briefly, and then asked, "Are we talking about MMA or boxing?" Within a second, he generated a response to his own question. "I'll tell you what, I will give you one from each sport. For MMA, the most satisfying moment came during the Forrest Griffin-Mauricio Rua fight. I was working Forrest's corner during this fight when he received a lightning bolt gash on the center of his forehead. It was a really bad cut, and the fight was close to being stopped. I managed to get it under control for about 4 minutes, and Forrest went out and submitted Rua. Forrest repaid his gratitude to Stitch with a thank you card and a gift certificate to an upscale restaurant. It was nice to get that recognition, Stitch stated in a content manner. But his contentment was further embellished with a recollection of his favorite moment as a boxing cut man. Conquest. In Conquest. What's happening in the Conquest? One moment, please. There we go. In Conquest. These are to be added, been here enough as a moderator. Standard moderator in Conquest said, "We have hundreds of YTBC advocates, and not one of them are high-profile role players in those areas. A shame. They rather be BMZ celebrity news and gossip." Salute in Conquest. Appreciate you stopping by again. You are now a moderator on Cat Sports. Okay. Yes, this Duran, we just finishing up yesterday's show. These are the last two of the 8 legendary cornermen that we profiled. Angelo Dundee, we covered him, and now Stitch Duran. Okay. So Stitch was talking about his most memorable moments in the corner. One was in MMA. He picked one from MMA, one from boxing. For boxing, he said his most memorable moment was most memorable and satisfying time as a cut man in boxing. But he said, "I was working with Vladimir Klitschko against Navarro Williamson when Vladimir suffered a zigzag cut on his forehead from a headbutt. When I examined the cut, I knew that I could stop it, but I thought, why assume the risk because Vladimir was ahead on the card? I decided to call Dr. Margaret Goodman over and let her have a look at the cut. She stopped the fight, and it went to a technical decision victory for Vladimir because he was hit on the cards. When I ran into Dr. Goodman a while later, she informed me that I made a wise move during that fight. Apparently, under closer examination from a surgeon, it was discovered that the cut was in the region of a nerve. If the fight had continued, he would have risked permanent damage to that nerve, So if Stitch would have stopped the bleeding and let the fight continue, Vladimir risked permanent damage to that nerve. So by calling the doctor and letting her stop it, he prevented that from happening. It was a moment of belief in his own abilities and judgment. It was nice to have that degree of trust and openness between the doctor and myself. Most cornermen are trying to get the physicians away from what they are doing. Yeah, most cornermen, trying to keep the doctor from stopping it. But Stitch called the doctor over, and she stopped the fight and saved Vladimir from possibly getting permanent damage to that nerve. The openness that Stitch transmits derives from a well of deep concern. He wishes to make both MMA and boxing safer sports. His vigilance is especially directed at younger and less experienced fighters. They are the ones that July the 5th, when his video was released, he became a pioneer. They removed the veil of the guarded treatments and remedies. They went to the grave with others. Other trainers, when Stitch came in, they wouldn't tell, Cutman, they wouldn't tell their secrets. But Stitch made a DVD and everything, revealing his work and methods that he used, okay? And shared it with other cutmen coming up in the game. In his wake, the ripples of his efforts will produce more disclosure and progressions in ring safety. Stitch said, it all comes back to education. You have to give back to something that is good to you. Stitch is only too happy to be at the front, conducting the flow of knowledge as a cut man, a radio and TV personality, and instructor. The need has never been greater than now to convey the knowledge of this craft. And in conclusion, it is only appropriate to say, a stitch in time can save fights. Jacob Stitch Duran, legendary cut man, the best in the business. Okay, that was the final two cornermen from yesterday. And so today, we're going to talk about some of the top commentators, boxing commentators, ring announcers, title belts, boxing venues, and boxing gym. First, we are going to go to ring announcers. Okay, we're going to start out with ring announcers first. Okay, here we go. Ring announcers. Two of the best. What should I say? The two best ring announcers there is right there. Okay, I know Jimmy Lennon Jr. and Michael Buffer. Michael Buffer on the left, Jimmy Lennon Jr. on the right. Yeah, I can't remember anything today. A minute to come up with their name. Yeah, those are the two best ring announcers of all time right there, probably. Now, Jimmy Lennon's father was a good one too, but he was before our time. Yeah, Jimmy Lennon Jr.'s father was a ring announcer too. We're going to talk about him too today. But ring announcer first. Number of different subjects. We got some of the top commentators, ring announcers, title belt, the most prestigious title belt venues and gyms. 5 different subjects we're going to take a look at now. So let's get started on that. First, some of the most iconic ring announcers, most iconic boxing ring announcers of all time. Okay, how's everybody today? Let's get started with the ring announcers. Smash the like, subscribe, drop a couple $1 million in the Cash App on Super Chat. I don't know if it's a limit on Super Chat. I think, you can Super Chat $1 million. I don't think it's a limit on it. Okay, ring announcer. Or just hit the like button. That's the main thing. I'm happy. Hit the like button and subscribe. I'm a happy camper. Okay. Most iconic boxing ring announcers of all time. Now, the ring announcer is part of the pageantry of boxing, whipping up the crowd with pizzazz and poetry, engaging those present in the perfect collective state to ensure the action in front of them lives up to its billing. Even non-sports fans are familiar with Michael Buffer's famous pre-fight call of "Let's get ready to rumble," believed to have been inspired by Muhammad Ali's line of "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and rumble, young man, rumble." Now, the 80-year-old's elongated intonation is iconic, but there isn't enough Buffer to go around, meaning he isn't the only famous ring announcer on the scene. In their role as ring announcers, these individuals need to engage and inform the crowd, introduce the fighters, highlight any famous faces ringside, and most importantly, get the fighters to the ring and announce the result. It is a job that requires charisma, knowledge, and a big voice. So let's find out some of the best in the business now. Okay, and first, of course, going to be Michael Buffer. Talking about, I got like 6 ring announcers we're going to talk about. Michael Buffer, 1982 to the present. Been in the game 46 years. Okay, 1982 to the present. The man your mind's eye settles on when you think of the role. Former model Michael Buffer first stepped into the ring as an announcer in 1982, working closely with Bob Arum's Top Rank, working closely with the Bob father. His fame grew so much that by 1992, he had trademarked his "Let's get ready to rumble" catchphrase, a shrewd move, as it is believed that the license has earned him over $400 million in royalties. That phrase, "Let's get ready to rumble," believed to have earned him $400 million in royalties over the past 46 years. Wow. $400 million. Let's see. How much is that per year? Wow. It's like $8 million a year, I think. Something like that. Oh. 800,000, I think. I don't know. Why did I even start this? Yeah. Wow. A lot. That catchphrase has earned him over $400 million during his career since 1982. Okay? Michael Buffer. Buffer has even utilized his skills in other arenas, including wrestling, as well as the other major U.S. sports and motor racing. His talents have also been showcased on screen, appearing in both the Rocky and Creed movie franchises, as well as TV shows such as The Simpsons, South Park, and Entourage. Incredibly, Michael Buffer's half-brother Bruce is also in the fight game, working in the UFC as a veteran voice of the Octagon. I believe they were adults when they finally met for the first time, realized they were brothers. Ring announcers. Next, David Diamante. David Diamante. Unknown when he started, but he's still presently active. Now his phrase, from the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now. I think that first part seems kind of corny. You should just break it down to the fight starts now. Because from the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring sounds kind of corny. Now the fight starts now is cool. Like Michael Buffer, let's get ready to rumble. David Diamantes is too long. We should break it down to just the fight starts now. Drop that other part. Four corners of the world to the four corners of the ring. Drop that. Y'all agree? That sounds kind of corny. Let's make it the fight starts now, right? But David Diamante anyway. Now, Buffer may have his catchphrase, but David Diamante is known as the voice of boxing. The BBC coined that nickname for the 53-year-old who has been in the sport for over 20 years. Currently tied to Matchroom, Diamante has also worked for all the other major distribution networks, even showcasing his talents in Spanish when required. Like Buffer, Diamante has worked in other sports, previously serving as the official voice of the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA. His fine delivery has also allowed him to cross over in the film and media, including Creed 3 in 2023. A unique talent and natural broadcaster, Diamante is known for his energy and repetition of fighter names, almost using it as a ploy to remind the crowd about the enormity of the event. Okay, next is the original Jimmy Lennon Sr. Jimmy Lennon Sr. Yeah, that's the father. Jimmy Lennon Sr. He was before our time. I sure don't remember him. I've never seen a fight that he announced. Or I've never seen him announce a fight. I've seen his son, Jimmy Lennon Sr., but I've never seen him. Just read about it. But Jimmy Lennon Sr., 1943 to 1992. Wow, 1992. I've probably seen some fights, but just didn't see him doing the announcing. But that was 49 years. An all-round entertainer, Jimmy Lennon Sr. tried his hand across show business before getting his break as a ring announcer. Family circumstances meant he knew the value of hard graft, and he possessed an incredible work ethic. Lennon Sr. was the ultimate professional, ensuring a perfected name of every fighter he called to, because as he told the Los Angeles Times, a man is entitled to the dignity of his own name. Not only did Lennon cover boxing, but he too appeared across film and television, notably Robert De Niro's Oscar-winning biopic of Jake LaMotta, Raging Bull. His work in wrestling is also notable, with a split between fans over whether he or Howard Finkel can be called the GOAT. All right, Jimmy Lennon Sr. Next, Jimmy Lennon Jr. Oh, Jimmy Lennon Jr. Just Do Boxing. What's up, Just Do? We talk about a few different categories in boxing today. We're talking about some ring announcers now. We did Michael Buffer. Michael Buffer, we covered him. We covered David Diamante, Jimmy Lennon Sr., now Jimmy Lennon Jr. Jimmy Lennon Sr. was before my time. They said he went to 1992, but I've never seen him announce a fight. So yeah. But salute Just Do Boxing coming up at 4 p.m. with that balanced, unbiased boxing talk, giving everybody that Just Do. Okay. Salute Just Do. And Mike Massett. What's up, Mike? 2 different categories today. Boxing commentators first. We finished up Cornerman first. We did Angelo Dundee and Stitch Duran. We didn't get them in yesterday. But today is I know it was supposed to be the WBC, but since we finished yesterday, we wasn't gonna have time to do the WBC today. So we're doing ring announcements and a few other things. But salute Mike Massett. Jimmy Lennon Jr. We just did his father was a famous ring announcer too. Now Junior, from 1981 to the present. So that means him and his father was announcing at the same time, because Senior went from 1943 to 1992. Jimmy Lennon Jr. has 45 years now. This is 2026. 1981 to the present. Jimmy Lennon Jr. Now, it must be in the genes, because Jimmy Lennon Jr. followed in his father's footsteps when he started announcing fights in 1981. A promising career in education beckoned, but he caught the boxing announcing bug and, alongside Michael Buffer, set out the requirements for success. The California's globetrotting work saw him under the lights in Hawaii, Australia, Japan, Indonesia, Thailand, and Mexico. A professional akin to his dad, Lennon Jr. worked hard to perfect fighters' names and even learned local dialects to help boost fan engagement. Lennon's work with Showtime saw him popularize his catchphrase, "It's Showtime," and he has called the result in some of the sport's biggest ever fights, including both fights between Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. He announced both of those. And finally, Chuck Hall. Chuck was active from 1954 to 1945, a 41-year career, right? 54, 95, 41 years, right? Chuck Hall. A man who was always at home with a microphone in his hand. Chuck Hall was born in Illinois, but made his name in Las Vegas, where he first announced fights in 1954. Hall became a fixture at Caesar's Palace, announcing all of their title contests from the late 70s until 1989, retiring in 1995 after working on 130 World Championship fights. He announced 130 World Championship fights. Among his most significant appointments were Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hearns, Marvelous Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Hearns, Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney, and Muhammad Ali versus Larry Holmes, all of which he handled with trademark style. He was a ring announcer at the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. Hall was known for his precise delivery and his shock of silver hair and sharp-cut tuxedos. The ring announcer. Okay, so now let's talk about some boxing commentators. Teams. I got like 5 of the top boxing commentating teams in history right now. Okay, 5 of the top boxing commentating teams in history, in boxing history right now. And trust me, Tim Bradley and his ESPN boys is not one of them. Now, if I was doing a worse of the commentating teams, Tim and the other 2 guys from ESPN would be on them. I can't even remember the other 2 guys' names. Not Andre Ward. I'm talking about them other 2. They'd be there lying with Tim. One man land 30 punches in the round, another man land 2. And they talk about the run that landed 2 won the round. They show all 2 of the punches he landed. Don't show none of the men that landed 30 punches. So no, they not one of these top team announcer teams. Not even close. Now Tim knows boxing though. You catch him away from ESPN, he talks some good boxing, man. Yes, he does. But I guess on ESPN you got to go by that script they give you. You know, they try to play up certain boxes, so Tim got to go by that. But he knows his boxing. I've seen him talk some good boxing outside of ESPN. When you get on there, something changes. They clearly got a script they got to go by. Yep. Because I used to turn it down. I used to listen to Just Do or KQKC or somebody calling the fight on here, one of the content creators. I don't listen to them calling the fight. I turn them down. They listen to one of the content creators that's calling the fight. Because, man, you'll be like, think you're on the wrong channel or something. Because what you see it in the ring is nothing like what they calling. But these 5 teams I got were the best at it. Seriously. Him and his boys, I'd be like, what channel is this fight on? I'm on the wrong channel because I got the wrong fight. But what they talking about is definitely not happening. But let's talk about some of the top five commentating crews in boxing history. Yeah, okay. Here's Howard. And I got Howard and anybody. Howard Cosell and anybody. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute. Talk about some different categories today, Bruce. We talking about some of the top 5 commentating teams in boxing history now. And there's Howard. Howard and anybody. Okay. Let's talk about these commentating teams. Now, over the hundreds of years that boxing has survived, there have been hundreds of boxing commentators and analysts. Spanning from around the globe, these men formulate sentences with brilliance and relative ease and describe the action with such beauty and grace that the video feed hardly matters. This list is of the greatest of the greats, all of which represented our sport, voiced brilliantly and respectfully. Okay. Number 5, Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, and Roy Jones Jr. These are top 5 commentating teams, not commentators, the teams working together. Number 5, Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, and Roy Jones Jr. I used to hate Larry Merchant, but you got to give it to him. He was a good commentator. He called the action like it was happening. I did not like that guy, but he was a good commentator. What was happening in the ring, he called it. Again, Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, and Roy Jones Jr. Of all the guest commentators for this crew, and there have been many, George Foreman, Lennox Lewis, Emanuel Stewart, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roy Jones was the best. Of all the fighters that spoke in the last 10 to 15 years, it is Roy Jones that knows his craft the best. His insight into a fighter's mind is unique, and he is rarely wrong. Roy always struggled putting words together and didn't have the grace that Sugar Ray Leonard or Big George had, but Roy was less biased and more reasonable. And unlike Big George Foreman, Roy was straight up, sane. Combine that with one of the greatest sports journalists of his time, Larry Merchant, and one of the greatest color men in the sports history, Jim Lampley, and you get one amazing crew. Yep. Number 4, Barry Tompkins, Larry Merchant again, and Sugar Ray Leonard. Barry Tompkins, Larry Merchant, Sugar Ray Leonard. This is teams, and Larry was with a couple of different ones. Now, this crew here was an almost perfect match all around. It's a shame that they lasted so few years. Tompkins was only with HBO maybe 4 or 5 years before making a move to ESPN's Thursday night fights. But during those years with HBO, he commentated some of the great fights of his time and gave great calls during them. Famously, during round 14 of Pryor Arguello, Tompkins would famously shout out, this is one, Tompkins would famously shout out, Arguello is hurt. A line that is almost engraved into boxing fans' minds, and is surely the case with anyone else who has seen that fight. Another one of Tompkins' great lines was when Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion of all time by knocking out Trevor Berbick. And at the top of his lungs, Tompkins shouted, "And we have a new era in boxing." He was so right. Now, Larry Merchant's witty comments came out at a speedy pace at the time, and Sugar Ray Leonard's insight was incredible. Nobody knows why Leonard stepped out of boxing commentary. Maybe it was because he got sick of all the traveling, or just preferred to watch the fights from his home and not talk about the fights all the time. But he was sorely missed by many fans. Interestingly enough, this is one of the few commentary crews that really had an interruption or had two guys speaking at the same time. That's why they seem like a near perfect match. Number 3, Steve Albert, Ferdy Pacheco, and Bobby Chaz. Steve Albert, Ferdy Pacheco, and Bobby Chaz. This was another classic crew that fit together entirely so well. It was almost unfair to the other commentating crews that these guys were so good together. Ferdy Pacheco, famous for being Ali's fight doctor, had a great voice for his position. Having spent so many years with Muhammad Ali, he became so inept and in tune with the business and preparation side of the sport that he was perfect for the job, giving us insight and facts that we had never heard before. Steve Albert was another great boxing commentator, and he was special with this crew. And many have said that Marv Albert, his brother, when he used to do boxing, was better than Steve. And I thought Steve was better myself. I thought Marv was robotic and sometimes boring when commentating. Marv was better at football. Steve, on the other hand, has always had a knack for making the final call extremely memorable. Who could forget his famous call for Castillo Corrales 1? It's one of the few calls that a lot of people remember perfectly by heart and don't need any reference for. Castillo steps back. Corrales winging. Corrales is winging. Castillo's in trouble. Weeks steps in, and the fight is over. But since that wasn't within this, bear with me for a minute. But since that wasn't with this particular crew, let's look at one that was with this crew. The dramatic finish to Holyfield Tyson won. He stops the fight, and Holyfield has won. To which Pacheco responds, "I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's the most unbelievable thing I've ever been privileged to witness." Bear with me for a minute. The equipment malfunction. Yeah, but this was the fight Holyfield Tyson won when they had those classic lines. Steve Albert, Ferdy Pacheco, and the third man on that crew was excuse me for a minute. Keep losing my display here. Let me get this together. Give me like a minute. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. This was Steve Albert, Ferdy Pacheco, and Bobby Chaz. Yeah. Okay, I gotta move to the next one. Okay, Don Dunphy. Don Dunphy and anybody. It's Don Dunphy and a radio microphone. Talk about an old timer. This is just about as far back as TV goes. He was one of the first men to broadcast boxing on TV. Famous for his quick-paced radio calls during the Joe Louis era. And also commentated for the first boxing show of its kind in Gillette's Friday Night Fights. Yeah, I thought so. Don Dunphy was the first one to commentate boxing on TV. Gillette Friday Night Fights way back in the 40s. The voice alone was enough to entice your average human being. He had a high-pitched and almost squeaky voice and presented his blow-by-blow commentary in a fast and highly descriptive fashion. Don Dunphy commentated for nearly all of the biggest fights of his time through the radio. He started on the radio. But probably most famously was his call for the infamous Joe Louis-Billy Conn fight in June of 1941. Conn, who had won much of the fight in convincing fashion, would be stopped late by a Joe Louis rally, done to the best of Dunphy's call. Dunphy said, "He is badly hurt, but he won't go down." Another left to the jaw by Louis, a crushing right to the jaw, and Conn slowly goes to the canvas. Dunphy gets a special place, as no black and white fight is complete without his voice to go along with it. Yeah, that was before colored TV then. Yeah, Dunphy did it. TV was in black and white. We're back at the beginning of TV. Again, he was the first man to commentate on boxing on TV, Don Dunphy. And number one for the boxing teams, Howard Cosell, and again, anybody with Howard Cosell was the best. Of all the sports announcers, Howard Cosell had one of the most interesting lives. Born into a Jewish family in North Carolina, Howard actually started off as a lawyer and worked his way over to representing athletes. Eventually, he would host radio shows and television. Despite his voice, which at the time was thought to be all wrong for radio, he made a big splash and became very popular. Knowing very little about boxing at the time, Howard jumped at the opportunity to take on a commentating job. During his reign as commentator for NBC and the likes, he would cause controversy, speak his mind freely, and revolutionize the position. Sure, he had a guest commentator from time to time, such as Muhammad Ali or George Foreman. But these men would only hamper Howard's performance. Howard's best nights were when he went it alone, or for quiet, soft-spoken man like Ken Norton, who only spoke when Howard asked him to speak. Most importantly, though, Howard told it like it was and would never back down from bad-mouthing a fighter, even when that fighter was seated right next to him, okay? Howard told it like it was and would never back, Bruce Gass will tell you this, Howard Cosell told it like it was and would never back down from bad-mouthing a fighter, even when the fighter was sitting right next to him, okay? Even when the fighter was sitting right next to him. Some famous quotes include during Ali-Iran Law, Ali smells blood, doing Joe Frazier, Jimmy Ellis. Down goes Ellis, he is beaten. And doing Larry Holmes takes call when the ref let the fight go on far too long. Howard said, "I wonder if that referee is conducting an advertisement for the abolition of the very sport that he is a part of." But probably, most famously, was doing Joe Frazier, George Foreman 1. Down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier. And the forgotten second half of that great call. And Foreman is as poised as can be in a neutral corner. Your George was standing there with his hands on the ropes, had his legs crossed, feet crossed, chilling. Yeah, boxing commentators. Yeah, some of the best. Howard Cosell is definitely the best. Anybody never heard Howard Cosell broadcast a fight? Pull one up and check it out. And like I said, Howard told it like it was. If there's something bad about a fighter, Howard would say it like the fighter was sitting right there next to him. Howard would tell it, would say it. Anything negative he had to say about the fighter. Okay, he didn't wait till the fighter was gone or wasn't in the building. Howard would say it if the fighter was sitting right beside him. Okay, now, what is the most, this is a good one here. What is the most prestigious belt in boxing? Okay, this is the WBC, A, B, the WBA, C, the IBF, D, the WBO, none of the above. It's the ring, okay? Let's talk about it. What is the most prestigious belt in boxing? Okay? What is the most prestigious belt in boxing? A, WBC, B, WBA, C, IBF, D, WBO. None of the above. It's E, the Ring Magazine belt. Okay, I'm going to tell you why in a moment. What was the question again? Oh, what was the most prestigious belt in boxing? How's everybody? It's Thursday. Had a big fight this weekend, one we've been waiting for. Andy Cruz and Raymond Murat-Tyler. I don't know who's going to win this one. I wouldn't miss it, though. What is this, the Zone? I don't know. Top Rank don't have a network, though. I think Andy Cruz is on the Zone, so that's probably where it's at. Murat-Tyler was Top Rank. They don't have a network. So it's got to be the Zone, right? Yeah, Murat-Tyler's with the Godfather, I think. Okay, what is the most prestigious belt in boxing? Today is the anniversary of, whoa, I didn't know that, Bruce, of Down Goes Frazier. Okay, January 22nd. What is that, 72 or 73? One of them. The anniversary of Down Goes Frazier is today. Okay, I did not know that, wow. Of that first Foreman Frazier. Frazier went down 6 times. Foreman stopped him in the second round. You know, Frazier just kept getting it. Foreman could have knocked him down 100 times. Smokey Joe was going to get up. So yeah, a good stoppage. Good stoppage. Good to keep him down. But today is the anniversary. Wow. Down goes Frazier. And what is the most prestigious belt in boxing, though? I think it's that one. This one. Okay. Now, in boxing, belts are more than glittering props. They're the embodiment of a fighter's legacy, the stakes of a historic night, and the narrative that electrifies the crowd. A lackluster title defense can reduce the world championship to a fleeting line in the ring announcer's spiel, barely registering with fans. But when two titans clash, the belt becomes a crown, its significance amplified by the fight's drama. The pursuit of undisputed status, unifying all 4 major titles, WBA, WBC, IBF, and the WBO, can etch a fighter's name in history, where purses fade and legacy takes center stage. Yet, among boxing's 5 premier titles, the Ring Magazine belt stands alone as the most prestigious. Its merit-based lineage, historical weight, and independence from sanctioning body politics makes it the ultimate prize. Though undisputed titles shine brightly in their fleeting glory. The narrative of a fight defines a belt's importance. When Muhammad Ali faced Joe Frazier in their 1971 fight of the century, the heavyweight title wasn't just a prize. It was a symbol of supremacy, debated in barbershops and barrooms worldwide. Conversely, a mandatory defense against an unworthy challenger can render a belt a mere formality, overshadowed by the paycheck. Boxing's commercialization has muddied the waters, with sanctioning bodies like the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO churning out interim, regular, and super champions, each demanding fees that prioritize profit over prestige. Yet, belts remain the sport's ultimate currency, transforming a victory into a claim to immortality. The question is, which belt carries the most gravitas, right? Now, 5 titles dominate boxing's landscape. Again, the WBA, World Boxing Association, WBC, the World Boxing Council, the IBF, the International Boxing Federation, WBO, World Boxing Organization, and the fifth one, the Ring Magazine belt. Now, the WBA, born in 1921 as the National Boxing Association, is the oldest, renaming itself in 1962 to the WBA from the NBA. The WBC emerged in 1963, the IBF in 1983, and the WBO in 1988. Each has crowned legends: Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Lennox Lewis, Floyd Mayweather, and Tyson Fury all hoisted one or more of these belts. The Ring Magazine belt, first awarded in 1922 to the ferocious Manassas Mauler, Jack Dempsey, holds a unique place in boxing. Unlike the sanctioning bodies, the ring belt is not a bureaucratic prize, but a recognition of lineal supremacy awarded by a panel based on merit, not politics. Okay, I'm going to read that again. Unlike the sanctioning bodies, the Ring Magazine belt is not a bureaucratic prize, but a recognition of lineal supremacy awarded by a panel based on merit, not politics. Okay? The Ring Magazine belt's prestige stems from its purity. Founded by the Ring Magazine in 1922, it represents the lineal championship. To claim it, you must defeat the reigning champion, creating an unbroken chain of the man who beat the man. Okay? Anybody don't just get the ring. It's lineal. It's a lineal title. This merit-based system sidesteps the sanctioning bodies, quagmire, mandatory challenges, title stripping, and bloated divisions with multiple champions. Joe Louis held the ring heavyweight title for an unmatched 11 years, from 1937, passing it to successors like Rocky Marciano. Okay, so big name, huge names had the ring. In modern times, fighters like Canelo Alvarez, who claimed it as super middleweight, and Alexander Usyk, the lineal heavyweight king, have cemented its status. When Canelo defeated Callum Smith in 2020, the ring belt was the prize fans celebrated, not the WBA super title. The ring's rarity, only awarded when a division's best, is undeniable, makes it boxing's gold standard. That's the belt. Okay? That's the real champion, the ring champion. Okay? Yet, the undisputed title, unifying all four sanctioning body belts, can rival the ring's allure in rare moments. Not all the time, but in some moments. When Lennox Lewis defeated Evander Holyfield in 1999 to unify the heavyweight division, he stood alone as the undisputed king, a feat that captivated the sport. Similarly, Terence Crawford's 2023 welterweight unification against Earl Spence Jr. was a masterclass that left no doubt of his dominance. These moments are seismic, as one fighter holds all the marbles, creating a legacy-defining night. But undisputed status is fleeting. Sanctioning bodies impose mandatory defenses or strip titles, as seen when Lennox Lewis lost the WBA belt soon after unification. The ring belt endures, its lineage unbroken by such politics, as seen when Usyk claimed it by defeating Tyson Fury in 2024, a victory that echoed Ali's triumphs. Okay? Now, some argue the WBA's century-long history or the WBC's iconic green belt, held by Ali and Mike Tyson. Some argue that the WBA and WBC holds greater prestige than the ring. The WBA's longevity is undeniable, but its credibility wanes with multiple champions per division, sometimes 3 world title holders simultaneously. Okay? The WBC's global reach is impressive, but its interim and diamond belts dilute its value. Okay? Dilute its value. Critics of the ring belt point to its subjective selection process as a panel decides the champion. Yet, this focus on merit, rewarding the belt, not the most compliant, outweighs such flaws. When Floyd Mayweather claimed the ring welterweight title in 2007, it was a nod to his skill, not his willingness to pay sanctioning fees. The ring belt's revival in the 2000s, after a dormant period, further solidifies its legacy. Okay? When it was reinstated, it aimed to restore clarity and sanctioning body chaos, crowning the champions like Manny Pacquiao, who held it across multiple divisions. Fans and fighters alike revere it as a lineal title, a beacon of authenticity in a sport often clouded by politics. While undisputed titles create unforgettable moments, they're temporary crowns, fragmented by bureaucracy. The ring belt, by contrast, is a lasting testament to greatness, its lineage tracing back to Jack Dempsey and Joe Louis. WBC, IBF, WBO, unheard of back then. We had the WBA, but it was the NBA, and it was only one champion per division, okay? The Ring Magazine belt goes all the way back to. The Ring Magazine belt is boxing's most prestigious prize. Its independence, historical lineage, and merit-based ethos make it the truest mark of a champion. Undisputed titles may dazzle, but their fleeting nature pales against the ring's enduring legacy. From Ali's defiance to Usyk's triumph, the ring belt has crowned the sport's immortal. Okay? Fans should look beyond the sanctioning body's noise and honor the belt that represents boxing's heart, which is that one right there on the screen, the Ring Magazine belt, the most prestigious belt in boxing, right there. Okay? You ain't got to worry about no sanctioning fees. They don't do no kind of stripping. And the ring is lineal. You have to beat the man to beat the man to get the ring. Okay? That's the most prestigious belt. That's my true champion. Whoever got the ring belt in the division. That's who I look at as the champion. No politics. Not the one willing to pay their sanctioning fees. Okay? Not the one that haven't fought a mandatory in 3 years, but they so biased, they still let him hold their WBC belt or WBA or WBO or IBF. None of those. That's it right there, the Ring Magazine belt. It's the most prestigious. But let's look at some gems, top gems. Some of the top boxing gems around now. Okay? We got some gyms, and then we got some venues, time permitting. But let's look at the gyms first. Got like 10, 15 of them. Some of the top boxing gyms in the world, okay, on the globe. Just a little brief talks. Okay, some of the top boxing gyms. Okay. Oh. Okay. Let's get into it. Some of the top gyms in the world, some of the most iconic boxing gyms on the globe. Okay? It has everybody this Thursday afternoon. These days go by so fast. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, there's another shot of the ring belt. It's the actual belt there. It's their logo. Here's the belt. And there's a boxing gym. Okay? All right. Let's talk about some of these top boxing gyms. most iconic boxing gyms in the world. I think. Oh, here we go. Okay. Some of the top most iconic boxing gyms in the world. Now, boxing isn't just a sport, it's a craft. Perfected in the hallowed halls of the world's best gyms, where grit meets grace. These temples of training are not just about physical preparation, they're catalysts for transformation, for fighters who seek to etch their names in the archives of history. So let's take a look at some of them. Gleason's Gym, Brooklyn, New York, here in the United States. Now, Gleason's Gym has been a fixture in the world of boxing since 1937, making it one of the oldest and most storied gyms in the United States. It has been the training ground for over 130 world champions, including Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and Jake LaMotta. Okay, Gleason's Gym. The gym's atmosphere is infused with the legacy of the fighters who have sweated and bled within its walls, and it remains a mecca for both professional and amateur boxers from around the globe, from around the Mickey Fricky globe. Number 2, Front Street Gym, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right here in the United States. And we got some from other places too. The Front Street Gleason's here in the United States. Front Street in Philly. Now, featured prominently in the films Creed and Rocky Balboa, Front Street sits atop the old Front Street Market and offers sweeping views of the Philadelphia skyline. It's not just a gym, it's a symbol of Philly's tough, spirited culture. It has honed countless pugilists and is famed for its gritty, no-nonsense approach to boxing training. Next is the Wild Card Boxing Club, Los Angeles, California. Founded by Freddie Roach, Wild Card is the heart of Hollywood. It's in the heart of Hollywood, but its soul is pure boxing. Manny Pacquiao, among other luminaries, have trained here, utilizing Freddie Roach's insightful coaching techniques to great effect. The gym is renowned for its high energy environment and a rigorous approach to training that attracts fighters from all over the world. Fifth Street Gym, Miami, Florida. This used to be owned by Angelo Dundee and his brother Chris. This is the gym where Muhammad Ali trained under Angelo Dundee and forged his path to greatness. The iconic photo of Ali standing over Sonny Liston originated here, capturing the essence of his spirited training. Located just steps from the ocean, this gym has always been a beacon for fighters seeking the perfect blend of inspiration and tough training. Commentators Boxing Gym, Catskill. Where's that, New York? Yeah, okay. This is where the legendary trainer Customato crafted the careers of fighters like Mike Tyson, imparting lessons that went even beyond the ring, focusing on mental toughness and strategic foresight. The gym is known for its old school techniques and philosophical approach to boxing, making it a pilgrimage site for those who follow the Mato's teachings. Okay, here we go. One outside the United States. Romanza Gym, Mexico City, Mexico. Romanza Gym, Mexico City, Mexico. As the training site for numerous Mexican boxing legends, including Juan Manuel Marquez, this gym has a palpable aura of intensity and passion, reflective of Mexico's rich boxing heritage. Legacy of toughness, known for its Spartan conditions and rigorous training programs, Ramonza develops fighters who are as mentally tough as they are physically skilled. The Repton Boxing Club, London, England. Repton Boxing Club, London. Founded in the 19th century, Repton has a rich history intertwined with London's East End and the evolution of British boxing. They call it the Champion Factory. This gym has been a nurturing ground for British champions, known for its strict coaching and an environment that breeds toughness and resilience. The Sako Boxing Gym, Tokyo, Japan. The Sako stands out for integrating traditional Japanese discipline with modern boxing techniques, making it a unique hybrid training facility in the heart of Tokyo. The gym is notable for producing skilled fighters who excel in both national and international rings, fostering a cross-cultural exchange in boxing styles. Academia Nobre Arte, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And that's right, Academia Nobre Arte. I looked it up on that little speech app. Now, this is in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Okay, now, this gym reflects the vibrant, eclectic spirit of Rio de Janeiro, blending various fighting styles to create a comprehensive training regimen. Community impact. Beyond training fighters, Academia Nobre Arte is committed to social change, using boxing as a tool to influence and uplift local youth. And Rafael Trejo Gym, Havana, Cuba. Thomas Hill in the building, and Al Booger in the building. We're looking at some gyms now, gentlemen. Covered a number of different subjects today. Yeah, looking at some boxing gyms. This one is in Hawaii. Again, it's called the Rafael Trejo Gym. Cuba. You know why I keep saying Hawaii? I keep seeing Havana, thinking it's Hawaii. Havana, Cuba. Okay. As Cuba's oldest boxing gym, Rafael Trejo has stood the test of time, surviving political upheavals and social changes. With the recent lifting of the professional boxing ban, the gym is poised to reclaim its status as a premier training destination, emphasizing traditional technique that have produced some of the world's most formidable fighters. Okay, got a couple more boxing gyms. Let's see here. A couple more boxing gyms. Okay, get them in. Got to get the Mayweather gym in. And another one I was thinking about. Let's finish up the drop. Boxing gym. How's everybody though? Thursday. Thomas Hill, Al Booger in the building. Okay. Now, yeah, let's get these last couple in. Okay, I'll with y'all in a minute. In a minute, huh? Okay, here we go. Okay, let's go. Finish up on the boxing gyms. We got Big Show tomorrow. Gentleman Jerry Cooney. Gentleman Jerry. He went into depression after the Larry Holmes fight because the same people that built him up and was pumping him up after he lost, they criticized him and ridiculed him and everything. And guess who called him? And he went into depression. And guess who called him and brought him out of it? It was Larry Holmes. Mm-hmm. They became best friends. Yep. Same people that was building Jerry up. Yeah, you can beat Holmes. Rah, rah, rah. Now you ain't nothing after he lost, Same ones broke him up, broke him down. Now we're going to talk about Jerry tomorrow. Good boxer. Mm-hmm. He came in at the end of the golden age, like 77, 78, something like that, down in there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about these boxing gyms. The rest of them. Did we do Gleason's gym? No. Gleason's gym. Well, yeah. Gleason's gym is steeped in history, and its commitment to producing top-tier fighters is unmatched. It's a place where legends were born, and the legacy continues under the guidance of Bruce Silverglade. Yeah, Gleason's is in New York, right? Mm-hmm. Mayweather Boxing Club, Las Vegas, Nevada. With the Mayweather name attached, this gym exudes excellence. It's a place where champions are forged and the training is second to none. The Kronk Gym, Detroit, Michigan. Notable fighters: Thomas Hearns, Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko. Kronk Gym, under the legendary Emanuel Stewart, has produced some of the most fearsome fighters in history. It's an institution where raw talent meets world-class coaching. And I think Emanuel Stewart's daughter is one of the runners of the gym now, affiliated with the gym now. Sylvia Stewart. Yeah, that's her name, Sylvia. Mm-hmm. And then we have Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, Riverside, California. Some notable fighters came out of there: Mikey Garcia, Brandon Rios, Marcos Madonna. The Robert Garcia Boxing Academy is known for its tight-knit family atmosphere and a commitment to bringing out the best in its fighters. It's a place where champions are nurtured. Okay. Then we got the Church Street Boxing Gym, New York City. Zab Judah, Paulie Maldonado, Yuri Foreman all came out of there. This gym is a melting pot of talent and culture, reflecting the diversity of New York City itself. It's a place where fighters from all walks of life come to sharpen their skills. Johnny Taco's Ringside Gym, Las Vegas, Nevada. This has been around for a while. Sonny Liston trained there. Larry Holmes, Mike McCallum. Yeah, Johnny Taco knew Sonny very well. He was, when Sonny had got killed, his wife was away at her mother's in another state, Detroit somewhere. And when she kept calling and couldn't get Sonny, Johnny Taco was the one she actually called, told to go to the house to see about Sonny. And Johnny Taco was one of the people that went there and saw Sonny laying up there dead, and Johnny didn't report it to nobody. Johnny got out of there, right? Because he knew it was best to not get involved. He knew the mob was involved. But yeah, Johnny was the one that Sonny Liston's wife called to get him to go check because she couldn't get in touch. And every time she went out of town, Sonny always called them. He said Sonny called him 3-4 times a day. They was gone like 2 or 3 days, and he hadn't called, and she couldn't get in touch with Sonny. So Johnny Taco was the one she called and told her to go over there and check up. And Johnny went over there and found Sonny. Johnny got out of Dodge. Johnny said, let somebody else find him. Right? But Johnny Taco's gym, famous place out there in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. It's called Johnny Taco's Ringside Gym. Johnny has passed away now. And your Sonny Liston, some of the famous names trained there: Sonny Liston, Larry Holmes, Mike McCallum, the Body Snatcher. Because the Body Snatcher lived in Vegas too. Yep. Now, Johnny Taco's Ringside Gym is a place of boxing history. It's where champions have sparred and sweated, and it remains a testament to the sport's enduring legacy. Then we got the Capiello Brothers Boxing Gym, Stamford, Connecticut. Notable fighters that trained there: Travis Sims, Dalvin Rodriguez, Joaquim Alcine. Capiello Brothers Boxing Gym is known for its dedication to the development of young fighters. It's a place where aspiring champions receive expert guidance. And finally, Quinkelton's Boxing Gym, Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha. Some fighters that trained there was Steven Nelson, Maurice Hooker, and this other guy nobody heard of named Bud Crawford. Also trained there. Now, Quinkelton's Boxing Gym in Omaha has become synonymous with the rise of Terrence Crawford, showcasing the kind of talent and coaching that can lead to world championships. Yeah, it became synonymous when Bud was young and making his name. That's when it really became known, back around that time. Bud Crawford. These gyms are not just training centers. They are the heart and soul of boxing. From historic legacies to modern excellence, each gym offers a unique experience and a glimpse into the world of pugilism that is both inspiring and unforgettable. So lace up your gloves, step into the ring, and soak in the history, knowledge, and sweat of these iconic boxing, not gyms, iconic boxing institutions. Okay, not gyms, institutions. Man, and I had some venues. Let's name some of these famous venues real quick. I had the venues and some famous fights that occurred there. Let's get a couple of them in right quick in like 5 minutes. Okay? I should have had it ready. This thing right here been acting up all day. Going in and out. Oh, it's moving fast now. Thank you. It's moving fast when I needed it to move fast. Okay? We're going to get a couple of these venues in. 10 of them. Top 10 boxing venues in the world. And some the biggest fights that happened there. Okay? All still active and hosting fights today. Yeah. All of these gyms. We're going to do 10, and then that's going to be it. I got like 30 of them. Yeah, the top 10. Today's iconic boxing gyms. They're all iconic, had big fights, but still, venues. Venues, not gyms. Okay, let's take a look at them right quick. Because we had to finish yesterday's show. That's why I didn't do the WBC. Because we finished Cornerman. We had to get Angelo Dundee and Stitch Duran in from yesterday of the 8 legendary coaches I had. Cornerman I had. So yeah, had to get them to it. Okay, now it decides to move slow. You, Mickey Cricket. It's one of Thomas Hill's words. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we maybe not going to talk about the gym. Oh, yes, we are. Top 10 up. Okay, number 1. We got Madison Square Garden. Joe Frazier versus Muhammad Ali, 1971. Roberto Duran versus Kid Buchanan, 1972. Phyllis Trinidad versus Paterno Vargas, 2000. Miguel Cotto versus Zab Judah, 2007. Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz Jr., 2019. I think that was one, wasn't it? We got the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas. Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather Jr., 2007. Top fight. One of the top. 3, Staples Center. It's now the Crypto.com Arena, Los Angeles, California. Lennox Lewis versus Vitaly Klitschko was there. Okay. Wembley Stadium, London, England. Carl Froch versus George Groves 2 was there back in 2014. Okay. T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. Canelo Alvarez Kennedy Golovkin one was there in 2017. Mandalay Bay Event Center, Las Vegas, Nevada. Oscar De La Hoya, Phyllis Trinidad, 1999. That was for the WBC and IBF welterweight title. Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. Danny Garcia, Eric Morales, 2012. WBC junior welterweight title. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. Jerry World. Manny Pacquiao versus Joshua Claddy, 2010. That was a WBO welterweight title. O2 Arena, London, England. David Haye versus Derek Chisora. That was a big one. 2012. WBO and WBA international heavyweight titles. Yeah, the British people was in that joint that night. And number 10, the old, I've been here many times, watch fights. Boardwalk Hall, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward 3, 2003. That was an on-title fight. I seen B-Hop and Antonio Tarver there. That was in the early 2000s. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That was, I forget what that was for. Some kind of title. That was like 05, something. Yeah. Light heavyweight, something like that. But yeah, tomorrow is going to be Gentleman Jerry Cooney. Okay, yeah, Boardwalk Hall, Atlantic City. I don't think they have fights there anymore. Boots fought in Atlantic City, but I don't think it was at the Boardwalk Hall, though. They might have tore that down. I'm not sure. I used to go there many times. I'd be at the fight, Miss Cass be gabbing. I'd be worried, like, damn, we're going to be broke when we leave here. I better get over to the casino and get Miss Cass out of there. But I couldn't leave my fight, but it was all good. But I appreciate everybody for coming through today. Gentleman Jerry Cooney. Tomorrow is Friday, the end of another week of boxing history. Now, go out like that. I didn't even hit the end of the screen. It just ended. It didn't end, but it went out on me. But yeah, Andy Cruz and Raymond Muratalla, I don't know about that. That's going to be a good one. Yeah. But Just Do Boxing coming up at 4 p.m. in 1 minute. But I appreciate everybody for coming through today. Okay. Al Booger, Thomas Hill, Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Mike Mazik, Just Do Boxing. In Conquest, Mike Rim, and Miss Cass. Appreciate y'all 1,000,000%. Join me tomorrow for Jerry Cooney. Because if it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all of that boxing history. Appreciate y'all 1,000,000%. Everybody have a great afternoon.